Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I wasn't going to talk about this case because, we always like to wait for all the facts to come out. But I wanted to give my opinion and my take on what I think may be happening here with the Carmela and Austin. I think that's the two young men name. And there's so much talk about what's going on. From what I've seen and from what I've heard the brother say in his interview, this is what I think happened. And we can pretend, or we would love to live in a world where racism is not real. We would love to live in a world where color is not seen. We would love to, but the truth is, it's just not so. Many people are still just as racist as they ever were. I deal with it almost daily, even at my job, I deal with it. So I know it's real. And let me tell you this here one time, and this is when my kids were still in high school. I remember a time when my son was in high school, and my son joined everything he can join. He joined the football team, the band, boxing. He was in, if it could be joined, he joined it. So my son had became friends with this white boy that was in his class because we go to school together with all different races, and so the white guy, he lived in a nice, very nice community, and so my son went home with him at the school because they were friends, and so they were home and everything, and I know he was going over there, with his classmate after school. So I'm at home, so I get a phone call, and it was my son, and he was, really sad, and he would say, "Mama, can you come pick me up?" And I was like, "Well, what's going on?" And the young boy was in the back. I could hear him, fussing and upset, but I said, "Okay, I'm on my way." I didn't ask for any more details. I just left and went and picked my son up. And so when I got there, what had happened was, when the white boy, when his father came home and seen my son, who was a black young man, in his home, he was so mad. He did not want my son in his home. And let me tell y'all, it was raining outside. So that man, the white man, he put my son out in the rain. And I mean, he went off. Now, his son was so upset. The white man's son, my son's friend, he was so upset. He was saying how he can't stand his father, how he's going to do this to his father. I had to literally talk that young man down and tell him, "No, baby, don't be disrespectful to your father. Don't do those things to your father. Don't hate your father." I begin to tell him, "You need to pray for your dad." I just say, and I just begin to pray with that young man and tell him, "We're going to be all right, baby." I said, "Don't you worry about it." So he kept apologizing to my son. "I'm sorry, man. I'm so, because they were friends." So my son, that's the first time he had ever dealt with racism. And he was like, "Mom, when we were riding home, he like, 'Mama, did that man really put me out because I was black? He put me in the rain because I was black?' I said, 'Son, yeah, pretty much that's what he did. He didn't want you in his home. Yeah, and put my youngin' out in the rain.'" So racism is still prevalent today. We as individuals, we have to make a decision not to be that way, okay? But anyway, I want to just tell y'all this here about what I believe happened. I believe Carmela went because they were all students. They were all participating in what activity it was. He went and sat up under the tent. What I say the other boy name was? With the other young man. He didn't want him sitting under the tent. I would say he probably didn't want him sitting under the tent because he was a black boy sitting under the tent. Because what was wrong with him sitting under the tent? It's just like certain people don't want you in their neighborhood. Certain people don't want you to buy this. Certain people don't want you to do that. And it's all because of the color of your skin. It's sad. But a lot of times people raise their children to be that way. And these are my opinions, what I think. And I think him and his brother went to bully Carmela. There was a bullying him. That's what I think happened. And I would dare even to say that this probably wasn't his first time doing something like that to someone. Because, these things happen. You get more courage to do it every time you get away with it. you know. So and then the fact, his own brother said he grabbed his book bag and he grabbed him, Austin. Austin brother said he grabbed Camilla's book bag and he grabbed him. And it said that Camilla was telling him, don't touch me. Don't put your hands on me. And I think, because they showed the incident where they was up the bleachers. I think Camilla probably was trying to walk away from them, going up the bleachers, and they was following him up the bleachers. And I believe, this is just my belief, I just believe, allegedly, because I won't dare, but I've lived a little bit and I've seen how people act and respond to one another. I believe those boys was bullying him, and he was afraid that they probably was going to jump him. So that's why he done what he done. Now, I would say this. I believe that if Austin would have been a type of person where he didn't care about nobody's race, or he didn't care about trying to bully nobody, it would have been fine. Because what was wrong with him sitting under a tent? If he was a kind-hearted person, a kind-hearted child, if he would have seen him sitting under his tent just to get out of the rain, it wouldn't have been no problem. He wouldn't have bothered him. What's wrong with somebody trying to get out of the rain by sitting under your tent? Any other person would say, baby, you fine. You can sit right there, no problem. But because of whatever was in Austin's heart, he wanted him to move. They didn't say he was bothering nobody. They didn't say he was causing a scene. The brother didn't. The brother said he was just sitting there. Okay? So I believe all that could have been, handled better if that would have been the attitude of Austin. Also, I believe if Camilla would have been the type of child that would have just got up and left. You know what I'm saying? Soon as the boy would have said, because you got some people, this how I am too. If I see that a problem's getting ready to happen, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to leave. If I see that there's getting ready to be trouble, I'll be like, you know what, let me leave. Ashley, let me tell you what happened. Me and my daughter was in the grocery store the other day. There's a cashier that work at a Food Line. And every time I go to this cashier, she always have an attitude, always have an issue, don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But what I do, I don't go to her. Now, because me and my daughter and my grandbaby was in the store, my daughter was purchasing some grocery, and she was going to this cashier. I told my daughter, I said, don't go to her. And my daughter was like, well, I'm going to just go, because she didn't have nobody in her line. I said, no. I said, let's go over here. So my daughter was like, well, why, Ma? I said, because this cashier here has a very nasty disposition. She has a very nasty attitude. I don't know what her problem is. I don't know if it's because of the color of our skin. I don't know why. But one thing I do know, I don't want you to get in no confrontation with her. So to just get out of all of that, we won't even let her ring up our items. Now, if Camilla would have been a type of child, I'm an older person. I got wisdom. So younger people, they don't be thinking into all that kind of stuff because they haven't lived any. So Camilla, he probably won't thinking, let me just leave. These boys are up in my face. They seem like they threatening me. I'ma just leave. And I think that might have been why he was walking up the bleachers, to try to get away from them. But to just not have no issue at all, when that boy said, you need to leave, even though he didn't have to leave, because there's no assigned seats at an activity like that. But like I said, both these boys are young. Both of them don't think the way we as an adults think about safety. So, a lot of things could have been prevented. But you got to have more wisdom and a better way of thinking about things. Like I said, I didn't even let my daughter go through the line with that cashier because it could have been something. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I got my little grandbaby there. I don't want it to be nothing. So in order for it not to be nothing, we're not even going to go let her check us out. But young people don't think like that. They just don't. But my heart goes out to that family. And I'm telling you, when it becomes a black and white thing, you're going to see the ugly come out of people. You're going to see what's in people's heart, honey. And you're going to see why we needed Jesus. But like I said, my heart goes out to Austin family because they've lost a child. My heart goes out to Camilla family because they're going through something with their son. My prayer is that things will be resolved the right way. I know they're going to court. Everybody got to go to court, but I pray that justice will prevail. It's just a sad situation. We have got to learn how to treat people right. We have got to learn how to be kind to one another, regardless of the color of your skin. We are all human beings. God has made us all the same. If you know your child's a bully, you need to nip it in the bud. If you know your child got a quick temper or always want maybe to just got a quick temper, a hot-headed person. If you know your child is like that, you need to nip it in the bud. Wherever you can see the devil at in your own child, nip it in the bud, honey. All right? That's what I say, so we can have peace and live amongst one another. Because let me tell you something. There ain't no white hell, and there ain't no black hell, and there ain't no Hispanic hell either, honey. And there ain't no Indian hell and no Asian hell. Do you understand me? The devil hates us all. He hates every last one of us. And I don't care if you green with polka dots. He hates you too. And he wants you to come be with him. And so, that's just my opinion. What I think happened, and that's what I think happened. I think the boy got bullied. And I think out of fear or whatever, he protected himself. And unfortunately, this young man lost his life. That's what I think happened. I could be completely wrong, but this is what I think happened just by listening to Austin's brother say what happened. He felt like the boy should have moved from under that tent, He felt like he was out of place, So that's my opinion now, what I feel allegedly has happened. And y'all may have y'all opinions now. When you watch this video, don't be leaving no nasty comments, honey, because I will block you. You're entitled to your opinion, okay? You can say however you feel or whatever, but please don't be leaving no nasty comments because I will block you. Everybody entitled to their own opinion, but I really feel like that is what happened. And I won't dare this. Like I said, it's just my opinion, what I think happened. But my prayer is that both families in the world, our societies will learn how to get along with one another, that we will be kind to one another, that we will love one another, because God created all mankind. Nobody's better than nobody. And that with these children, that we would teach our children to be treat everybody right, regardless of the color of their skin. Don't let your children just run rampant doing anything they want to do. Don't do it. Raise them in the right way, in the fear of the Lord, all right? So anyway, that's just my humble opinion. And like I said, my prayers is for both families. I really do. I pray for both families. I would have loved to see both families to come together. You know what I'm saying? Both families come together. I remember a time when, Lord, this video's getting too long, But anyway, I ain't gonna go into that other story. But, yeah, that's my prayer, is that justice would be served and that the community and the families would find peace on both sides. All right. Toodles.